Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Business Learning Lab where my voice is deeper, but at least I have a voice coming off a cold that has been like brutal. But anyway, I am back in the saddle feeling much better. And today in Business Learning Lab, Meredith, we are going to talk about aligning your business language with your core values. And
Yes, this is a great topic.
yes, it's so exciting. And there is so much subtlety to this is that has such impact on both your relationship with your team
Mhm.
and your relationship with current and prospective clients. But I think today we're going to talk mostly about internal language in terms of fostering a healthy team dynamic while being consistent with your core values. Because one of my pet peeves is when companies have core values and they throw out like a handful of words, good words, but then you don't necessarily see how those words are being applied.
Mhm.
And really, for core values to have any sort of impact, they have to go beyond words and they have to go and into application into every aspect of your business. So this is just one aspect.
Mhm.
So Meredith, we've learned some lessons, even within Spirit. We've had some missteps with language that we've caught. So I wanted to start by talking about a couple of those.
Yes, yeah. And also, it should just be noted that, when we started this company, when we set out, that we were very clear on our values from like not an exercise point of view. We didn't sit down and say, okay, we've got our logo, we've got our website. Now, what are our values? Okay, that page is filled. Moving on, which is what I think a lot of people do in this, where you get like just the 5 words, and they just sort of like check the box and move on. But for us, that it was our values that led us into the company, and so as a result, we've put a lot of thought into it, and so we're very, very conscious of it all the time, which is what leads us to talk about it all the time. So internally, one of our first revelations, if you will, was we started immediately referring to ourselves as a family.
Family, we're a family. Oh, it's so warm and fuzzy. Yeah, and
We
oh,
had a lot of puns about childhood and baby steps and blah blah blah. So the family thing in that sense also just seemed to fit, our
exactly.
fantastic way of talking about things.
Yeah, but what happened is we realized that you know that it really didn't reflect our core values, and those being that we really believe in a balance between work and family, and we also believe in prioritizing your family over work. And so by us, calling ourselves a family, um, we felt that it could be mistaken as like this manipulation of and overstating the importance of us into the lives of our team.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not their family. How can we possibly be their family? We have not earned the right to call ourselves our team's family. They already have families. And so it was, I ultimately it was disrespectful of us to even say that. So we
Yeah.
stopped immediately. Easy fix. Like,
Yeah.
we do not say family anymore. It wasn't something that we did for a long period of time. I think we caught ourselves pretty quickly. We now strictly use the word team. The worm. Did I say worm? The worm. The word team, which I think is much more appropriate.
Absolutely. And part of the problem with using family, aside from specific to us, is it is a word that has been co-opted by big corporations and tech companies and has been used, like I think explicitly, as a manipulation tactic, and it's become toxic. And so, because it's an immediate thing. Once you say we're family, there's an assumption there of you're going to go the extra mile. You're going to like be emotionally beholden to us. And that is really gross when it comes to work. And that's how you get toxic work cultures and burnout people, all this kind of terrible stuff. And so it was a double thing. It doesn't suit us because we do prioritize, family is very separate from work, but also one of our other core values is redefining work and not participating in patriarchal and misogynistic and traditional toxic corporate cultures. And so we were unknowingly or unwittingly, not unknowingly, we didn't recognize participating in that by using the phrase family. And that for us is a whole other layer to it in terms of, especially when we're talking internally, the language that we use. We are working with exclusively women at this point, even though stay-at-home dads could work for us too. No one's ever applied, so just women at this point. Mothers and women who have oftentimes faced trouble at traditional jobs or at previous employment, balancing being a mom and being an employee, and have faced a lot of negative emotional manipulation, a lot of outright, discrimination, disparaging language, misogynistic language, all that kind of stuff. So we are always very, very careful of the words we use and the tone that we use, because we're a product of society too. And so sometimes words can come out that are not the right words, but that we are so used to hearing ourselves. So
yeah, and I think that's a great example of how powerful language is. I mean, it's one word, family, one word. But with that one word, we were communicating so much. So this topic cannot be, the importance of it cannot be understated.
Exactly.
So important.
And I think, we pride ourselves on having a very low turnover rate among our VAs. They are wonderful people, and they are very naturally attached to us, like in a good way. I'm trying to say, like, when we have events, they come and they tell us how much they like being here, how much they like working for us, which is wonderful to hear. But I really believe part of it is because we are so careful with the way that we talk to them, and we never take them for granted. We never dehumanize them. We never skip past the fact that they are mothers, that they are doing both things, and that the priority is home, and that they are, and given that environment where we see them as people, we value them, we respect them, and we respect them as professionals and as mothers, they thrive. There's no sacrificing service to our clients because of that balancing or that recognizing of family over work. They work it out. So, and we're going off a little bit from the
no, those are all beautiful points, Meredith. But I wanted to switch gears because, we've talked about, a misstep that we made with language that did not reflect accurately our core values. We fixed it. Yay, us. But I also wanted to talk about a language issue that I encountered recently, actually in a couple ways, having to do with poor leadership from some of our clients, and kind of a poor leadership red flag when it comes to working with a VA or any other team member. And it comes down to a preposition. And again, I love this because it is all about the power of language. And you probably are saying, well, how can a preposition be so powerful? Well, this preposition can actually ruin a good working relationship. And so here is the example. I talked about this on TikTok. When you hear me say something along the lines of, well, you work for me. How does that feel, Meredith? How does that
It doesn't feel good.
How does that feel?
Definitely, it's a divisional. I feel separated from you. I feel less than.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pointing out that I have a hierarchical position above you. I'm making that very, very. I'm stating it out loud, even though it doesn't need to be stated out loud. It's intrinsic to our relationship. It's me, putting you in your place, making
Mhm.
sure you know your place. I mean, that's the feeling, right?
Yes, it's exercising power
Mhm.
that is not even earned necessarily, but just stated, just exists.
Yeah. So that's you work for me. But what if I said instead, you work with me? With
Mhm.
me. We work
Completely
together.
different.
Totally different, right? It's
Mhm.
for versus with.
Yep. It
And
is a
when you
connecting term versus a dividing term.
absolutely. I mean, that word with, I mean, it communicates so much. It says we are going to work together on a common goal. You know, we are equals, and we have, equal respect. And I think that is such a much more positive approach to a working relationship.
Mhm.
Even if I am technically your boss, I don't think it ever needs to be highlighted or overstated. Um,
Yeah, the
Everybody
key is
understands.
the key is what you said earlier, which is that it's understood that I'm the boss and you're working for me. There's no confusion about that. There shouldn't ever be confusion about that. And if there is, that's a whole separate issue, right? So, but to have to say it is a flex. It's a weird flex,
Yeah.
right? It's unnecessary, and so the fact that you're saying it shows that there is some that you are attempting to flex your power, that you are needing to somehow feel dominant over the person you're talking to, which is indicative of a problem. There's something wrong. That is never said in a good way. Unless, I mean,
Absolutely.
the only way is like if it's a protect, like, well, since you work for me, you're going to get this good health insurance or something like that. But it's very rarely used that way. It's usually like, since you work here, you're
Yeah,
going to have good.
absolutely. It's definitely a red flag when we hear clients say that, about their virtual assistant. And I can tell from experience with clients that have said things like this that there are a couple of things typically going on. Poor communication, a breakdown in communication, a poor delegation skills, like not getting things out of the head, not having standard operating procedures, that sort of thing. And sort of the frustration that comes out of that gets directed at the person they're leading, their virtual assistant in our case. And in order to, like you said, exert control over the situation, they revert back to this like sort of, masculine power trip of like reminding them that, hey, you work for me. And if you want to continue working for me, you better get in line. And it's really just it's really just a lack of leadership skills. And I think an inadvertent, like, um
It lacks nuance in terms of it, and really powerful leadership and really effective leadership is filled with nuance, and it's filled with understanding that you don't need to take a sledgehammer to every nail, that
no,
sometimes it just takes a little tap to get it back into place. You don't have to come at every single thing that pops up with a massive sledgehammer, with a jackhammer. You don't have to take all guns blazing at every.
no, absolutely not. Oh, and the other thing is a lack of skills to provide feedback. So
Yes.
a lot of business owners are not great at giving feedback. They find it very uncomfortable. And if they had some tools in their tool belt to provide constructive feedback, which we can help them with, um, then there's no need to revert to that sort of negative, power trippy sort of language. And I will also say that when I see this happen with clients, they have core values that are completely misaligned with that type of language and that approach to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So those that are open-minded to personal growth and development and leadership development will catch themselves and improve. And the ones that don't, well, they probably won't be clients,
Yeah,
of ours for long, because it sets up an abusive relationship.
exactly. And they tend to churn faster
Yeah,
through their team members, which
yeah,
is a whole
absolutely.
other issue we could talk about another time of a
That's
high.
that's for another learning lab.
So we've gone a little over, but we're very passionate about this topic. We're going to talk more about it. Really quickly, we have our lunch and earn networking coming up this week. It's the fourth Thursday of every month. Everyone is welcome to join us. And we are going to do some more. We're going to have a little learning segment on a topic, I think, along these lines, because we're very focused on this, like incorporating core values into your work leadership style, and it's just great networking with other amazing business women. So check it out, register. We hope we'll see you there.
Yeah, if I get my act together, I'll put a link in the comments.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. You don't have to like, where is this lunch and earn that I heard so much about? Like, why do I have to, search all over for it?
I know. You can also go spirit.co/workshops. It's right there on that page.
It's right there. Absolutely. Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, networking, knowledge share. It's so much fun, actually.
It is.
I love it.
It's a really awesome group of women, and sometimes men that join us as well.
Yeah. Last month we had a man surprisingly join us. He was wonderful.
He was.
All right. Over and out until next week. Bye.
Bye.